Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. We want to welcome you to this program today, Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. And this is where we say it as it is. This program is designed to have very critical conversations about topical and trending issues in the nation. We start with the headline stories from the dailies, and then after that we get talking about these issues, having balanced opinions and angles of these issues, very critical and issues of public importance. Femi Ojo is my name, and I welcome you. Evelyn.
Yes, good morning, Femi. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Welcome to another edition of Morning Spring right here on your favorite channel, Western Spring Television. We are glad that you are here with us, and we're here to keep you abreast of situations happening all across the country and beyond. It's a beautiful day. Arise and shine. Right. And go do what you're supposed to do. Definitely, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, King Heath say so. Right. Please do to follow us on all our social media platforms, on X, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And we're live right now on our YouTube channel, first at Western Spring Television. Please like, share, and subscribe. And, you know, talking about what is happening in the nation, we learned finally, in a manner of speaking, at least tentatively, the former CBN governor has been granted bail. Yeah. You know, admitted to bail, and if actually has perfected the terms of the bail is another thing, but the court has granted him bail. But beyond that, many persons have been speaking about the way prosecuting agents, anti-graft agencies, even the Nigerian police at times do, but majorly the EFCC, let's call them categorically, the way some of them behave, the DSS as well, when it comes to obeying court order without any addition. A court order is a court order. If it's categorical, do this, do this, do this, you don't have to second guess the order of a court. But that's what we say, detentions upon detentions. There was a time that the DSS was struggling with the correctional service, yes. Who was the custody, and then you imagine what is happening. There was on you know, quite an ugly scenario in the court that day, and then you see people, uniforms being torn, and then security agencies of the same government, you know, being involved in scuffle because, okay, Emefiele is ours. No, the court has released him to us, so he's supposed to go with us. And then detention, and this attitude of detaining people beyond normal. If you have to prosecute, prosecute. If you don't have evidence against somebody, why don't you walk your ways? Why don't you get your evidence? Why don't you do your work first? So by the time you go for the arrest of that person, everything is ready. And we've said this countless times. That's the way it is done in Senate crimes, just to arrest people because we feel like arresting them. And sometimes it boils down to what people call media trial. You arrest them, and then you go to court. Please give us 14 days to gather our investigations, and then another 14 days, and you keep them there. And this is a man that we learned the FCC have all it takes, you know, to prosecute him since August. So why are we still here? And then at the end of the day, you see some of these high-profile cases thrown out because of one thing, and then you at the best have a slap on the wrist.
Yes. You know, finally, the famous CBN governor, Emefiele, has spent 151 days in custody, and I think that's too sad, too bad. Yeah. It's one of the things the justice sitting over that particular case pointed out yesterday, that it's a breach of his fundamental human rights, and he feels like he can get bail while the trial is ongoing, and that was it was on that condition that he was given bail yesterday. You know, like you pointed out, it's sad that we have our security agencies not doing their homework before going after a suspect. It gives a system that is not working. It gives a system that is questionable. Yeah. Because we then want to ask: is it based on vendetta by some people, or is it that you're really doing your job? You know, and we've had instances where the court will ask these agencies to bring him to court. I mean, the EFCC was asked to bring him to court earlier this week. They failed before this, before yesterday.
The court has to give them a stand warning before they brought him yesterday.
I think our judiciary need to stand firm on their feet and say that if you are not ready for trial, if you are not ready to prosecute this person, then do not bring this person to court. You have to have done all your homework, all your assignment, dotted your I's and crossed your T's before coming to the court of law.
That's the way it's supposed to be. And then I think the judiciary, my laws, justices, judges should go harder on these persons, make examples of them. And, you know, by the way, how do you even define a situation in which I think before President Buhari came in, there was an arrest of the IGP, you remember, by a court of law, the arrest of the EFCC boss because of contempt of law. Nothing happened. No one was arrested. So it starts from there. If you won't make scapegoats out of these high-profile persons and institutions, then it appears that we are not ready, and that's not the way to go. Even if somebody has been caught in the act, the Constitution of the land says, until a court of law, a judge, pronounces otherwise, that person is still not guilty. Is still a suspect, by the way, until otherwise proven, and that's the way it's supposed to go. So the EFCC doesn't have to appear like they are doing the biddings of some persons who doesn't like Emefiele. Many persons, for what happened during the redesign of the Naira and the stress people went through, many Nigerians don't like him for that. But then the law is the law. Let him have his day in court and let it be done the way he's supposed to do.
Yes, and you know, on the sideline, I saw him yesterday on TV, and he was looking a bit frail. I don't know if it's me, but
frail.
Yeah, it is not looking like the Emefiele that we used to know.
What are you talking about? Somebody that has been detained for 151
I'm
days.
sure he has lost some.
Definitely will not be robust, will not be fresh. Mental issues, but then that's his personal, whatever. He will have his days called. What we are saying is, let everything be done fairly, and then let the prosecution go the way it's supposed to go. And that's what we're looking at this time. But then we head straight to the headlines right now. Yes, and then, yes. At the headlines today, many interesting stories that we have for you. Of course, that's what we do at this time. So where do we start from? Let's start from the front page of the Punch. The Punch for today. And here we go. Electronic collation illegal. Talking about the off-season polls round. Electronic collation illegal, says INEC. Police warn LNLC. Okay. And INEC says, that's the riders, INEC says IRF not for results collation. Labour leaders advise against intimidating voters. Second rider says Uzodinma, others absent at peace accord. Why? Diri, silver clash. Imo workers, banks shun strike. Okay. And then you have here the picture of the president signing the supplementary budget into law, right? Obi forced Tinubu's 2.17 trillion naira supplementary budget, and old bank note remains legal tender, says CBN. All right, very interesting there to think about. This is what plunged the nation into some kind of frenzy at some point. And then here we have again one of the many sins, quote unquote, of Emefiele and the policy of the CBN at that time. Now, UK police probe suicide of British-born Nigerian. Oh, wow. Right, sad one there. And, right, and federal government stops electricity tariff hike. Insist on subsidy. Okay. And top strip, 51 billion $51 billion debt. Federal government rules dwindling revenue. Reps condemn needless loans. Contract. Someone will say, are you serious? Reps condemning needless loans. What loans are needless at this time? Like, there is no one that has just anything, you know, it appears that any loans that's brought to the National Assembly, it passes. And then we're looking now. Government promises to block leakages. Lawmakers decry high debt servicing. Quite interesting one. NPAN returns Kabiru as president. Imua joins ESCOs. That will be all from the front page of the Punch for today.
All right, we head straight to Nigerian Tribune this morning, and we have the picture of Mr. President flagged by the sides by some senators. I can see the Senate President there, Godswill Akpabio, the Senate Majority Leader, Okpeyemi Bamidele, and also some of his aides right there. And it has the headline here: Tinubu signs 2.17 trillion naira supplementary budget, 30% for defense and security, 35% dedicated to provision of critical infrastructure to be allocated to works, FCT, housing, and urban development. And still on Nigerian Tribune, peace accord for off-season polls, seriousness, commitment of candidates in doubt.
Wow.
This coming from Abdul Salami. Expect them to obey rules, honor accord, ensure free, fair polls. Commends INEC for adequate preparation. NSCDC deploys 22,600 personnel in Imo, Kogi, Bayelsa. FRSC deploys 4,500 and 137,973 party agents to participate in polls. This is coming from INEC. After 151 days in detention, court admits Emefiele to bail. That's on page 11 of the Nigerian Tribune. And Afenifere criticizes NAS over purchase of 160 million naira SUV for lawmakers. The lawmakers have justified why they need that particular brand of SUV and why the money is up to 160 million naira.
Evelyn, you know, something just dropped in my mind now. We're talking about many persons frowned at the National Assembly members when these news came up. 160 million naira, some said 140 million naira, what a vehicle for each person, each of them, you know, to run their office. That's what they said. But then, and you saw that they tried to defend it that way, but then Nigerians were not having it. But then, you know, one of the things that I think one Honorable Karimi from Kogi said was the fact that why are Nigerians always picking on them? The members of the executive use more than this. They even said some of them have their own delivered already. But then it's instructive to know that the supplementary budget that has been passed has series and series of SUVs that has been confirmed. So that gives you the opinion or, you know, the view of what Honorable Karimi was saying, that the executive are using this thing. You are telling us to back down. And because they know what the executive are bringing, 1.5 billion naira for the fleet of the First Lady. So you are telling the National Assembly member not to use his own 160 million. How so? But
Nigerians also found that it's generated controversy.
But to be fair, on the National Assembly members, I'm not defending it, by the way, because what they have done personally is indefensible across board. But Nigerians then frown the way the opera wasn't as much these executive SUVs that we are seeing that has been passed, the way Nigerians shouted when it was the turn of the National Assembly members. But then one doesn't justify the other. I'm only saying no wonder the National Assembly members are saying this is 160 million naira, we can't get it because the executive have theirs as well. And then they say you are not even looking at the judiciary. Some of them ask the same thing as well. So where does that leave Nigeria?
I feel it's the defense that was given by the lawmakers that we need this these vehicles for official purposes and all of that, and also
legally, you know,
because
it belongs to them.
Our roads are bad. And Nigerians
bad roads.
You are supposed to fix the roads. You were supposed to make up, laws to fix the roads. Why are you saying the roads are bad and you need the 160 million cars?
I think they must just say something. That decision was indefensible.
In fact, that defense was too weak for me and also for a lot of Nigerians out there. All right, let's move to the top on Nigeria, the front page of Nigerian Tribune this morning. Why we cannot increase electricity tariff now, FG. This is on page 7, and I know lots of Nigerians are saying, yes, you cannot increase electricity tariff right now.
Should we really interrogate this matter? These increments have been done severally without Nigerians knowing. You know what your 1,000 naira used to give you, how many units? Initially, it used to be 38, 37, later reduced to 24. Right now, is around 16, 17. These things has been done severally. It's only that, you know, when they say we are not doing that.
We don't want an upward review anymore. That's it. And I think there are a lot of things that are not done right in the country where you already effected a change.
That's it.
2 months later, you release a statement saying you want to increase. Meanwhile, citizens are already
done that. That's it. The yachts that people are talking about.
Exactly.
Senator Alindume said, you guys are just making noise. The thing has been delivered. We're only talking about the payments. So, oh God, let's please.
All right, and lastly on Nigerian Tribune this morning, Olubadan, Ladoja, Ibadan Arbors hold advisory council meeting. I bear no grudge against anybody, says Ladoja, and explains why he challenged Makinde, others in court. To get details of that particular report, it's on page 11 of Nigerian Tribune this morning. All
right, and moving to the Nation newspaper for today, Thursday, November 9. Senate House agreement raises student loan to 10 billion naira. Yacht item dropped as President signs 2.17 trillion naira supplementary budget. Senate launches probe. You know, when I saw this, and I'm sure many Nigerians will feel like, does that supposed to make us feel better in this middle of all this? And we are even hearing that the Senate are saying they are going to investigate the yacht matter. Like, you guys didn't have these details before now. And there are now house committees that worked with the Navy or with several security agencies. The thing has been passed. Okay, the 5 billion naira has been added to the student loan. But the issue of the yacht is there. A high-ranking member of the Senate, Alindume, has said, the thing is here already. So who pays for that? Why will you order something that has not been appropriated for, that has not been signed into law? And these are the anomalies. Senate coming, I think it's just like
and I think we even need to look into our Procurement Act. There are a lot of anomalies in our Procurement Act.
The system is anomalized as far as I'm concerned. But moving on, talking about the Nation. Of course, the picture of the president, flanked by his cabinet members, they are signing the supplementary budget into law. Good luck with that. NLC strike fails to hold in Imo. And offices open. Airport in operation. Power cut enters day 7. All right, you know what to say? When two elephants fight, the grass there tends to suffer. But then many persons are wondering, what's the peculiarity? What's the involvement of the NLC in Imo, you know, especially as this election is coming up? Are they an interested party? Is it just the brutalization of Ajero? Is it because it's from the state? Many questions waiting for answer there. And Power Minister threatens discos, Gencos with license revocation, with the rider operators to sign performance bond. Okay, you have the picture of Mr. Adelabu, the Minister for Power, and threatening discos, Gencos with license revocation. Why? To what effect? Nigerians will just be saying that you are going to revoke the licenses of the discos or the Gencos. Let Nigeria and Nigerians be the one to gain from this. So we don't want to hear possibly a part or so, or possibly the minister or the ministry wanting something to do in a kind of arbitrary way, because we have been here before in a manner of speaking, by the way. But let our power improve. That's what Nigerians are really interested in. That you are going to revoke it, let power improve. That you are going to give them warning for them to do better, and Nigerians improve. Because many of them will say, what essentially Nigerians are paying for darkness. And that is not acceptable at all. And power generation, I'm not sure the same thing as rocket science. Many nations do it, only that they get serious and over time they invest in their power.
Even African nations.
Of course, really doing well with their electricity and their power. And that's the bedrock of any manufacturing industry, by the way. Moving on. Bayelsa, Imo, Kogi 2023. Shetima urges vote for Silva to end youth unemployment. All right. Interesting one there. Panels. Panel wants candidates who fail to sign peace agreement in Imo. Again, panel wants candidates who failed to sign peace agreement in Imo. We learned Uzodimma wasn't there, but we didn't know if actually was represented at that peace accord signing. And the essence is to have the commitment of the stakeholders to say, we are committed to peace, we are not going to incite the polity, and everything will go on well. But then many peace agreements have been signed. Sometimes you see that some of them don't work the talk, but it's a good initiative by the Abdul Salami and Father Kuka, initiative. Good one for them. Again, Atiku rallies support for PDP candidate, expectedly, by the way. Top 3. Survey projects Uzodimma's victory with 68%. Rao rocks opposition. All right. And Emefiele out of custody after securing bail. Banker booed in court. Of course, interesting one for him. Awkwardly interesting one for him. Then you've been seeing the man clutching a copy of the Holy Bible.
He wasn't with one yesterday when he went to court, and trust Nigerians on X to ask, Mr. Emefiele, where did you forget your Bible today? And someone said, no,
it wasn't with Bible yesterday.
He wasn't with his Bible yesterday.
And he wasn't even in his usual white kaftan. I think it was done in...
It was Barbariga or something.
Yeah, Barbariga with a cap.
Yeah,
possibly he had some confidence that it was going to be granted bail yesterday. But then many persons have been asking, why are you holding a copy of the Holy Bible? Is he trying to go to the seminary after this ordeal of it? But then it is prerogative, it's God's word. So.
And that's his personal business with God. We can't get into his relationship with God. We don't know what
it's
it is.
It's a personal thing, by the way. But you know, the what's it called now? The outlook, the way it looks, many Nigerians will pull me in easily and say, is when you guys have problem that you remember there is a God. When you're in the full paraphernalia of your office, it doesn't look like that, but then good luck to him. And then he has been granted bail. Banker booed in court. Moving on. Old, new Naira notes remain legal tender. Old, new Naira notes remain legal tender. CBN reaffirms. All right. Now, bandits took 250 million Naira ransom to free 121 Baptist school pupils. This happened, I think, almost a year or 2 years ago in Kaduna. Bandits took 250 million ransom to free 121 Baptist school pupils. And then you still see our security agencies come out to say we're on top of the matter, and bandits or kidnappers or terrorist flag are no more hoisted on any part of our land. But then the truth is there are some parts of this country that no one will dare travel that part. And that's why we still have many persons in IDP camps. It's 10 years after this insurgency thing, reared its head up, even after almost 2009, 2010, and almost 12, 13, 14 years, many persons are still in IDPs. And I remember Governor Babagana Zulum saying, we must just do something on this matter because even the IDPs are becoming porous. Many of them are their idols. So what they do is just to wake up, eat, and many of them have been preyed upon by criminally minded people who are even supposed to take care of them. And Babagana Zulum, that's Borno State Governor, came out to say this, if it's not nipped in the bud, and if something concrete is not done on this, it can become a recruiting center for these terrorists. And then the nation will be back to square one because many of them are there, and you said people, they are giving birth, the population is growing, they can't go back to their lands. And that's why Zulum is saying, let's do what we have to do so that these people can get back to their land and get back to their lives. That would be the size of what is written and printed today on the front page of the Nation.
All right, let's check out the Guardian newspaper, the front page. Inflation affects many tariffs compound Nigeria's trade woes. Inflation affects many tariffs compound Nigeria's trade woes. That's on page 6. And EFCC arraigns 11 OAE students for internet fraud. They've been taken to court. We remember that issue with the 69 OAE students that were busted in their hostels by the operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. But 11 of them are still in the custody of the EFCC, and they've been arraigned in court. Moving on, Knox as Tinubu signs 2.1 trillion naira supplementary budget. I should say the heaviest of the knocks is from the Mr. Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate, where it said, supplementary budgets, especially at this time of the year, should be for something very necessary, something that is very urgent.
Expedient.
Exactly.
Compulsory.
And looking at these supplementary budgets we had, like you mentioned earlier, we had the 1.5 billion naira allocated for the office of the First Lady, which is not constitutionally recognized. We had...
Evelyn, I think we should put it in the right context. So it means these things that have been signed, it's a law now.
Yes.
Means it will be gutted. So it means the First Lady, we have 1.5 billion naira released to her for SUVs for her fleet. Good. 4 billion naira will be given to the president for renovation of his Abuja home, the villa. 4 billion for the Aguda house, barracks. For the Dodan barrack, where he, then it belongs to the president. The VP will be getting 3 billion naira for the renovation of his residence in Lagos, a place that might not even spend a week in a year.
Sure. And you know, he mentioned
among other things,
these are things, if you have this in the supplementary budget, then what will be in the 2024 budget? These are things that could have been pushed to the 2024 budget because the First Lady, even though the Constitution doesn't recognize her office, she has been moving around with cars. So what happened to the cars she has been moving on with? Why can't she wait till the 2024 budget to have
those things?
The renovation of the houses, they can wait till next year. What is urgent, what is expedient about these things that are put in the supplementary budget?
You are very right. I'm talking about the fact that we learned there was a time before President Tinubu came into the villa that he had moved into a particular residence and President Buhari too had vacated his residence at the villa because of renovation. So, does that mean that renovation didn't happen? Or if it happened at that time, what's the other renovation that we are doing? 4 billion naira to build another residence or to renovate? Is it a smart villa?
You call it small billions, I remember.
Maybe. That was
now you're saying it like
few billions.
It's something big.
A few billions. Don't let's upset the sensibility of Nigerians because these things are not, let's call it the way it is, they are not expedient.
They are not. There are some things that could have been pushed to the 2024 budget. Funding
of capital project, fine. Some of them are there.
The defense, the student loan, and all of that, the wage increase, the money allocated for the wage increase and all of that. Yes, those are things that we need.
And speaking about sacrifice, you see our president, starting from him, the First Lady, let's just endure. Every of the top guys saying we should endure. We should endure this pain. So if we're talking about sacrifice, you mean the president and his beloved wife, the First Lady, cannot afford to get cars that they need for themselves and fuel for themselves at least till December ending?
No, it's Nigeria's job.
So it's you and I that should sacrifice. What? Man, let's go ahead.
Calm down, Femi.
It's on behalf of Nigerians, by the way.
All right, let's move on very quickly and get it done with the Guardian this morning. Off-cycle polls, Kuka tasks INEC on transparency as candidates sign peace accord. And in red, NPAN decries rising hardship, urges Tinubu to engage media stakeholders. LASU suspends Dean over certificate racketeering as Senate probes fraudulent admissions. That's on page 4. And FG probes extension of Disco's licenses, false power privatization. And aviation unions shun IMO-bound flights, declare Uzodinma persona non grata. And lastly, from the Guardian newspaper this morning, LASG seals warehouses, stores at International Trade Fair Complex. LASG seals warehouses, stores at International Trade Complex. That will be all for the Guardian newspaper this morning. Yeah,
before we leave it, that last suspending Dean over certificate racketeering, I think is a serious situation that should be looked into thoroughly. Yeah, it's the allegation for now. The investigation is on. But if it is so, it's something that in the possibly for the want of the better word, you could say is a terrible situation if that is the case after concrete investigation. Because you mean we learned there was even a figure, it goes as high as 1 million, 2 million naira to have original certificates dispensed with, sold out to the highest bidder. So what becomes of the 4-5 years of people
that actually went to school?
Their sweat, their time, their reading, their resources, their funds into having this certificate and the knowledge. You mean somebody could just walk in and then speak with somebody, have the certificate and use it? Definitely, if somebody has obtained such a certificate fraudulently, by the way, if that person gets any work with that certificate, fraudulent things will continue to happen. And it's as simple as that. But it's a good thing that it's been looked into at this point. But then we'll keep tabs on that matter as well. And that will be the size of this segment, talking about the headline segment, where we look into stories, interesting ones, that, churned out about our major dailies every day. We'll go on a short break right now. When we'll come back, the off-season election is just like 2 days away right now in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa State. We speak to one or two of the critical stakeholders. We'll start with Kogi State, and if time permits us, we might look at other parts of the country as we're talking about Bayelsa and Imo State. You don't want to miss this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be back.
According to the words of Michael Forbes, one who never asks questions either knows everything or nothing. Watch me as I ask the questions you think no one wants to answer. Even questions it appears no one has got the gut to ask. My name is FEMI Adefila, and I've got the gut. Let's ask the pertinent questions and watch as we get answers.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was an anti-apartheid activist who gave his all for the elimination of what has been described as the world's most vicious rule of the unjust and man's inhumanity against man. He was born July 18, 1918 in Mvezo, South Africa. Educated and trained as a successful legal practitioner, he took up the gauntlet of a human activist against segregation by the minority white supremacists in South Africa. At the climax of his trial for treason, orchestrated by the minority South African government, the great crusader for democratic equality was prepared to pay the supreme sacrifice to establish majority rule in his native land. He told white jurists that if achieving freedom for his people was worth his life, he was prepared to die. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in Robben Island, described as the most notorious prison in the world. It was from this same prison that he came out as a free man to assume office as South Africa's first black president in 1994. Western Spring Television identifies Nelson Mandela as a watershed character in history. Born 16th September 1923, named Harry Lee Kwan and known as Lee Kuan Yew, he was often addressed by his initials of LKY. Lee Kuan Yew was a barrister and the first Prime Minister of Singapore between 1959 and 1990. Educated at Raffles Institution from 1936 to 1940 and the Fitzwilliam House between 1947 and 1949, Lee Kuan Yew established a highly effective and anti-corrupt governance system that midwives the transformation of Singapore into a high net worth income economy within a generation. He never hid his exception to Western mode democratic ideal, which he believed had not assisted developing nations to attain good government. Before his death on 23 March 2015, the People's Action Party, which he founded, had used his political influence to establish the United World College of Southeast Asia to expand his economic ideas among countries, that constitute the Asian tiger. Western Spring Television identifies Lee Kuan Yew as a major character in history.
Arrested.
Welcome back to Morning Spring right here on Western Spring Television. Right at this point, we are on the conversation, and for today, we will focus majorly on the off-season polls coming closer. November 11 is just 2 days away, and the political parties are dotting their I's, crossing their T's. INEC says they are fully ready for the exercise. The security agency says they are more than ready. But this morning, we are going to be speaking to a major stakeholder in Kogi State. We have joining us online this morning, Mr. HARUWA Ismail. He is the PDP youth leader, North Central Zone, Kogi State, and he will be speaking for his principal this morning, Senator Dino Melaye. Good morning to you, Mr. Ismail.
Good morning.
How are you doing today, and how is Kogi?
Kogi is fine.
All right, and you know, we'll get straight into the matter. Being the youth leader, the North Central Zone, and then you're from Kogi State. As it stands today, the PDP is one of the strong opposition party trying to get power or take over power, politically speaking, from the outgoing governor, Yahya Bello of the APC. And your principal, Dino Melaye, is talking tough, sounding, you know, confident about his chances. But there, many persons are saying that will be a tall order to take over government house, the reign of leadership in Kogi State, from an APC government that has been in power, from the outgoing governor, Yahya Bello, who wants somebody from his own party, Mr. Ododo, to take over. So, as it stands today, how confident is your party that the people of Kogi State are going to elect you, knowing fully well the APC is in power?
Yeah, can I go on?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning again.
Good morning.
Just like my candidate, His Excellency Senator Dino Melaye, has stated in so many fora that he's the candidate to beat. That is the reality on ground for so many reasons. One, Dino is the most educated candidate among the aspirants. He's the most exposed person among the candidates. He's the most what is it called? There's not to go about 3 E's. Now, Senator Dino Melaye has a political experience. He has was once a Senate 2 times House member, a senator, and he has culture across the state. Now, where we're very confident for victory in 11 is, but for these reasons I want to tell you. One, Dino is from the western flank of the state that have never tested power, and they now say this is their own turn for the governorship of the state. And in that area, they have like 7 local government areas, and Dino is getting everything from that end. Now, on the side of the eastern flank, PDP is a party to beat because we have structures everywhere in the state, and even in the east, where another major contender, who is the SDP aspirant candidate, is there. Dino is going to slug it out with him from the eastern flank. Then on the central flank, with the victory of Natasha as the senator representing the good people of Kogi Central, that is where Yahya Bello comes from. That is where that's where the APC candidate is from the same ward with the Yahya Bello. So a lot of people are disenchanted, and now they are now following the Senator Natasha on this matter. Natasha is busy working around to see how we can deliver the 5 local governments to Dino Melaye. Now, looking at the critical, we have 21 local governments in Kogi State. Dino has already 7 from his own immediate side. Now, Natasha is bringing 5 to the table. When you add 9, for example, 5 to 7, that is 12 already. Then we have in our slide, we have Basa local government area, where it's predominantly PDP. You have Ankpa local government, that's in Igala land, where we have where the deputy governorship candidate of PDP is from. So by and large, we have no less than 15 local governments out of 21 local governments in the whole. So we are very confident, and he's the only person who has got what to offer in terms of policy documents. In terms of acceptability, he's the only candidate that can express himself. He's the only candidate that has no issue of certificate forgery, issue of certificate, what do you call it? So many things. Everything works for him. One, he can express himself very well. He's been loved by the people. He has fought for Kogi people all the while in the reps and Senate. So now, if he says he's confident of victory, that is very, very correct. We are very, very confident of victory. Come 2023. That I can tell you in confidence.
All right, Mr. Harua, it's expected, and it's good that you're speaking very eloquently of your principal. And it is sounding interesting that, in a manner of speaking, you have shared this local government to yourselves, and this is what Dino is going to have. This is what possibly other candidates are going to have. But then, it will be the prerogative of the good people of Kogi State to choose who their leader will be. But you talked about your principal having 7 local government from where he's from, Kogi West, in his kitty. One will say, how so? Because the candidate of the ADC, Mr. Abejide, is from the same senatorial district and is gathering momentum as well. In fact, 2 weeks ago, there is a particular group called, I think, elders from that particular district who came and said they are for Abejide, and many persons felt that was a big blow to your principal. How come he's not really having some of these important groups follow him, endorse him in a kind of way? So it's before he can even win other parts of the senatorial district in the state, he has to win the battle within. That's talking about his own district, where Abejide from, where I think there's another candidate from that place as well. So when he has such a formidable opposition in his own senatorial district, how come you have shared other local government to say your principal is going to clear it all? Factually speaking.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to tell you something.
Yes.
You know that the western senatorial flank of the state, they are highly intelligent and highly educated. They know their left from their right. They know what is their best bet at the moment. They all know that. Any group can stand up anytime to say we have adopted this, we have endorsed that, we have endorsed that. But the naked reality is that we have crisscrossed the length and breadth of the state, and particularly the western flank of the state. Majority, what I want to tell you is that we are not saying Abejide is not going to have votes from the western side. That is what we are saying. We are not saying Dino is having 100% from the west, but he's going to lead from the 7 local governments in Kogi West. So at the end of the day, when we win from there, and just like I mentioned earlier, Natasha will bring the 5 from there. Then we can pick 1 or 2 from my own side. I am a Nigala person from the Eastern Plan. We are very confident that we'll get from Basa local government and we'll get from Ankpa local government. That will bring the number to 15 at the end of the day. Again, Abejide will have his own vote. A Brimer of who is always from the west, yes, will have his own vote. And other parties could get 1 or 2 things. We are just talking about who will lead from the area at the end of the day. We are not saying no party can have vote from anywhere. That is all we're saying. But when you aggregate it at the end of the day, you'll see that the PDP will go home to victory with not less than 15 local governments. 7 here in the west, 5 in the center, yes, and 3. 7 here, 5 here, 12. That is 14. Sorry. Okay. That is 14.
Interesting there. Honorable Harua, when you were speaking the other time, you said the western part of Kogi State is Kogi West people, very intelligent people,
very educated.
Very educated. Does that mean it's otherwise at the other part? They are not educated or as intelligent as you are claiming the Western persons are. But let me ask you now, it seems your principal, factually speaking, with what is on ground, it seems his chances there at the Kogi West, first before we even go to other part, is under threat. How formidable is Abejide and Abrahamon's threat? You know, how formidable is their force to your principal? Because many persons felt Dino Melaye is threatened.
Yeah. I want to tell you again, I want to reiterate that these people you mentioned, these personalities you mentioned, they are distinguished people from their respective areas. But the people of Kogi West Senatorial District have been longing to hold, to get the governorship of the state. They are seen in Senator Dino Melaye as the best bet through which they can clinch the governorship of the state. That is why majority, I want to emphasize, majority of the people from the western flank of the state are rooting for Senator Dino Melaye. Right. I am not saying that Abejide, Brimo, and others will not get, other parties will get something, but it is not going to be as substantial as what Senator Dino Melaye is going to get from that side.
All right, Mr. Ismail, you will agree with me that it's going to be a battle on Saturday for that particular election. Now, tell us, we have 18 candidates on the ballot, including a woman, Sulaiman Fatima of the Zenith Labour Party. Your party and your candidate, Senator Dino Melaye, who do you consider as your biggest threat in this particular election?
Yeah, elections all over the world is between two persons. That is how I consider elections. Okay. Even though people are 100, 1 million, you consider two persons in an election. Okay. Now, the two persons in these elections are Senator Dino Melaye, that is the man to beat, and the SDP governorship candidate of the party, Alhaji Murtala Ajaka.
Really?
So you're saying
other people are threats.
Okay, so you're saying your biggest threat right now is the candidate of the SDP, Mr. Ajaka.
Yes, I'm not saying a threat that we cannot win election. I am telling you that it's one of the major contenders, considering the area he's coming from. He's an Idara man from the eastern part of Kogi State, where they have 9 local governments. Then what happens? But he has got visible presence in the central and the west. And in the central, that is where the APC candidate comes from. But he's not being loved by the people because of the overwhelming influence of Senator Natasha. And Natasha, as we are all aware, has declared all her structure for Senator Dino Melaye. So, in our side, I'm out from the eastern flank. I told you that, yes, we can easily pick not less than 2 local governments. That is handy for us. But if we push further, we could have more local governments from that side. But what we are sure of is that we'll get the 7 local governments in the west and get the 5 from here, and we'll now have the 2 from here minimum. That will amount to 14. And you know, the constitution says you have win in the 5% in 2/3 of the state. And when you are talking about 2/3 of the state, 2/3 is 14. And we're going to win outrightly in the 14 local government out of 21 local government. So we don't have stress from anybody. It is expected that every candidate will enjoy support from this area. That is why there seems to be more support for Ajaka in the eastern flank. But we are dragging with him. These are the 2 people we are dragging with him. The way Amana Senator Dino Melaye is dragging with him in the east, that cannot be said of Ajaka in the west, because he cannot even come talk to Dino in the west. And when you go to central, Dino will be dragging with an APC person. But because of Natasha influence there, he's going to clinch everything. So Ododo will come likely second behind Dino in the central side. So with this mathematics statistics I've given to you, that is how it's going to turn out by next tomorrow by the grace of Almighty God. So Senator Dino Melaye, by all standards, is being loved by the people. He has a record of performance. As a senator, this man can point to a minimum of no less than 200 projects. Even the state, for the past 8 years, they have performed abysmally, percentage salary. For the past 8 years, nobody has been paid more above 60% ever since Yahweh came to power. And again, his albatross at the moment is that he went and picked his cousin from Agasa Ward in the Kogi local government area of the state. Not even another local government in the central. That is why the people of central are even feeling that this man is not representing their interest. And Natasha is on Kogi local government. Okene, they are there, Jupiter, they are there, Magongo are there, Adabi are there. All these people, they have come in unity to support a Dino. They see Dino as one of their own because Dino grew up in Okene, and Dino went to one of the most famous secondary schools in that, the Akko, and at the point he was a head boy of that place. He speaks their language very well, and they know he's somebody who can perform very, very well. On this note, they are queuing behind him. So again, statistically, we are having no less than 14 at the moment in our kitty. But that by the time we work in around 48 hours or so, we will get up to 15, 16 local government. As it stands, we are good. We are just waiting for the announcement by the relevant body.
You know, it is surprising that you will pick Mr. Murtala Ajaka of the SDP as, you know, your biggest threat in this particular election. Then what happens to the All Progressives Congress Ododo, who has the backing of the incumbent governor Yaya Bello right now? Are you not shaken by the influence and power of incumbency?
Thank you very much, Madam. Incumbency will be a factor if the person who is currently occupying the seat has a record of performance. This is not the first time that incumbency have been demystified in Nigeria. Started in Nasarawa, in Oshu there, you can see that a sitting governor was removed by an Adeleke. It's a typical example. You can see now that the Ombugadu has won the election of Nasarawa and waiting for appeal. So the issue of incumbency is not even a factor. Incumbency, so much that a sitting governor can be removed. What is it that somebody who is succeeding cannot be removed? That one is easier than when somebody is in power. So if they can remove a sitting governor, a governor who is trying to bring a successor can easily be crushed. So that is not an issue. One, why people don't even want to hear about his name, that because he has not performed in the last 8 years, no projects to point at. All these things put together, our people are very civilized. Our people knows their right from their left, so they will come out in their numbers to make sure that this man is sent back. So the issue of incumbency factor in the first place is not even something to be considered in Kogi State because he has not performed. And even he has performed, then you will have said that incumbency could play a factor. Another biggest problem posing standing on their side to victory is that he has forgotten that we have 3 senatorial districts in Kogi State. And even he has picked somebody from either the east or the west. That is where we will have said, okay, we can even have a threat or challenge. But as it stands, it's an easy ride for us. Because for him giving the ticket to somebody from his own ward, his cousin, that is the nature of doing. So I don't see him coming from anywhere. Call people who are in local area, do independent investigation. You get to know that the Abelona is more blood running for blood to vote. Let me shock you. Because the man is confused. People who have applied for various venues for Grand Rally and so like this morning, Atiku be coming into the state, into Kogi State with a good number of governors. He's threatening, he doesn't want him to come. We have resorted to using our party secretariat as a grand finale because when we apply for stadium, the mammoth crowd that will greet that place, that is what is avoiding. All other venues we applied for, the man denied us approval because he doesn't want people to see that we are free of ground. That is why he denied us. And we resorted to using our own secretariat. As we speak to you, the podium is set. By this morning, 10 o'clock, people are coming from the 239 wards in Kogi State, and other people are going from Abuja. The governors of the party national leadership are all coming this morning for us to do a grand finale before we move to trenches. The Abelo own is over as we come 11/11/2023. That I can assure you, madam. The next time you speak with me, I will be telling you, congratulating me on the outcome of the election.
All right. Honorable HARUWA, is expected that politicians speak very optimistically.
Very confidently.
You know, even sometimes when it looks like there is no hope, they will still be optimistic. But then let's speak to statistics right now. Now, we learned 1.9 million voters were registered for this poll, excess of 1.9 million. And then 51% of these voters are from Kogi East Senatorial District, you know, by the way, because it has 9 local governments, and that's where the SDP person is from, Ajaka, that's where he is from, and maybe that's why it's instructive that you have mentioned him as your biggest threat, and then having these 9 local government, and he's the sole contender there from that senatorial district. Here you are from, talking about your principal, do you know Melaye, having come from Kogi West with 7 local government, and many persons are thinking the votes, only 7 local government, will be splitted between Abejide, the AA candidate, and of course Dino Melaye himself, struggling for voters, at least talking about their jurisdiction right now. These votes will be splitted, and then you have an Ajaka who is from Igala land, having 9 local government, maybe the sole contender. The Central having 5 local government, that's where Ododo is from, the current governor is from. So, speaking to statistics now, 51% from Igala land, of course they have their son as well, and Ibira person has been there for almost 8 years now. The Igala must feel it is their turn to have the president as well. The people of Kogi West are saying they have never produced, governor right now, they have never produced governor. Abejide is waxing strong. Dino Melaye is waxing strong. Splitted votes there. So what are your chances? We're speaking to science right now, not just postulation.
Again, I want to. I'm not confronting. Are you done?
We are with you.
I am not comfortable when you say somebody is a threat. I will be not comfortable when you say a major contender.
Is he not?
A major is not a threat to us. We are not losing sleep at all. We are not losing sleep at all over his aspiration. Now, I don't have the statistics to tell you this is the exact voters card collected.
Yes.
But what I can conclude for you is that the eastern flank of the state has more registered voters, has more PVC collected than the 2 senatorial districts. Now, the fact is that I want to give you an information that you said as Ajaka is the sole candidate from that side. No, there are other Igala people who are candidates in from our area.
That was a sole contender.
Staff, Admiral Usman Jibril of the Accord Party. You have Honorable Hassan Bewa, former House of Reps member, who is the candidate of New Nigeria People's Party, NFPP. You have a successful businessman, president of Idoko Lona Tisley, of Lona Concept Worldwide, who is the candidate of AGDA. You have the Labour Party candidate is of Igala extraction. Now we have minimum of 6 or 7 persons who are from the Igala land, slugging in with their own sons as well. It is not that that place is just a vacant or family land for Emori and Jakarta alone. But the reality of that is that yes, we are slugging it out with him. He's having upper hand in that place, but we are going to have the substantial vote that will complement what we are having from the central and west to coast to victory. That is the point we are making. Just like Dino has presence in the 3 senatorial districts, that cannot be said of the Ajaka, who is leading, appears to be leading in the Kogi East senatorial district. So, plus or minus, when you put it together, I will go back to my statistics as well. We are taking the day. by the grace of Almighty God. It's not because I'm a party, I'm of the PDP. Now, I want to tell you something. We had the election in 2023, that's presidential election. Now, you can see the distance, the gap between the PDP and the APC in all the election reps and co. You can see that there is just there's a little margin, a thin the margin between the candidates of the Senate and co is not much. It's something that can be closed up. And secondly, those people then were in APC. The bulk of the people now have moved from APC down to SDP. These are the supporters it's having around there. So by the time we replicate, we now try to repeat what exactly we got in the presidential election. Now, you will now say we have the chances of Senator Dino Melaye is more brighter than any of these candidates as it stands today, this morning, and
Honorable,
where the party to be.
Yes, Honorable, you know, it's more like you have ceded Kogi East to Ajaka, because it's sounding like that, and then you are going to make do with Central and West. Of course, you've spoken glowingly about your chances, especially with the emergence of Senator Natasha Akpoti, that she is going to be a big influence in Kogi Central, and then your candidate being from Kogi's West is going to work for you. And that's more like you saying Kogi East is gone. You are not really hopeful about that place. Is that what you're saying? Hello? Did you hear what I said? Like,
I'm here.
Yes, it's looking like you are saying, you know what? The PDP and your principal have left Kogi East for Umaru Ajaka. And so your chances where you put your vote is between Central and West. Is that the reality?
I know the journalist, you try to get word from me. Again, I want to say it is not as you have painted it. I say yes, the Muri, no doubt, is leading in the eastern flank because that is his traditional home. Among all this array of candidates I have mentioned. Candidates in our side, everybody will pick his own left, right, center. But who will come next to him in terms of this fight is the Senator Dino Melaye, not an APC person coming close to Muri. Now, I say we have no local government, but as it stands, we have put two already in our pocket, and we are moving forward to see how we can add one or two to it. Because you know, Alpha is already there, Basa is already in our pocket. Then Omala is good to go. And Olawaporo. So we may end up having four, I think, but in politics, it is not good to project high and let me try to be conservative. That's what I'm talking about this too. So we may end up having four from that side and a young man having five from that side. So that is still a lead. But this lead is not as it is being painted, that is giving a wide gap. That is what the value was saying. PDP is well rooted on ground. This, for your information, this is the place that have produced two former governors. I've had Ibrahim who ruled for 9 years. He's not yet dead, he's on ground, he's fully behind, you know. Captain Jalawada, who ruled for 4 years from another federal conspiracy, is fully on ground and given his structure to him. And even the last candidate of the party, Jinamusa Wada, who is still from the Eastern flag, they are all there. And other persons who have achieved various things in their political endeavor are fully on ground to give support to this person, But again, the truth be told, that here the fight is between Muri and Dino, but Muri is in his front in the eastern flank. But Dino is having his own stable in his pocket in the western side. While the person is doing fight to him, and that already seals the whole thing. What matters in the election is that, look at it, it's not a rule that you must win in your, it's not a rule that you must win everywhere. But what matters is that at the end of the day, the figures will be able to add up for you to say you have won elections. So nobody can come second, or how the case may be, in the eastern flank other than the PDP.
All right.
Nobody knows, God gives power and whoever he wishes. Who knows? But as human beings, we're just trying to say, okay, since this man is from here, let's allow him this privilege, let's give him this, let's do benefit of doubt that, okay, this man will come second to him from this side. But the man cannot even come second in the West and some other places. So when you put it together, again, I still want to think that, yes, Dino is good to go. It's the candidate of the party.
All right.
So
Honorable Ismail, I particularly love your passion, with the way you are talking. You seem so confident about what is to happen come 11/11, 2023. Now, I'd like to know, Kogi State has a history of violence, and this has actually resulted in a drop of voters' turnout every year or every election year. Let me put a number to it. A research conducted by Datafides showed that there was 39 to 37%. We had 1.3 million to 1.38 million in 2015 for voters, and only 39% of people voted. And in 2019 election, we had registered voters of 1.65 million, and it dropped to 38. Only 38% voted. And in 2023 general election, we had 1.65 million registered voters, but only 25% voted. And this majorly is caused by the issue of violence in Kogi State. And of course, there have been pockets of violence since the start of this particular election campaign started. We had accusations of political parties sponsoring violence. We had allegations of political party candidates saying they were almost assassinated. The SDP Muritala Ajaka said that he had 3 times or twice had almost been assassinated by his opponents. I'd like to ask just 2 questions. Does your principal, Dino Melaye, have any of such cases, maybe as he has been a victim of such? And also, what is your political party doing to ensure that people come out en masse to vote on Saturday?
Yeah, thank you very much. Your statistics, from what you have given to me, let me just take it that this is what has been happening. But since I don't have the statistics, I will not be able to say what you have given is wrong or right. But be that as it may, all over the world, particularly this our area, our own country like this, election voter turnout year in, year out have never exceeded, or we have never achieved about 50% voter turnout. But with the enthusiasm shown by the people of Kogi State, a lot of people have come home, a lot of people have mobilized their people, and people are very confident of the security arrangement for them to come out in their numbers. Now, I want to use this period to commend the federal government for having provided enough security, knowing full well that this is an off-season election. As I speak to you, in every nook and cranny now, you see deployment of troops everywhere in anticipation of the likely crisis that may be caused by losing parties. I call them losing parties because we believe that party belongs to God and the power belongs to people. So we believe people will come out and exercise their franchise and vote for the candidate of their choice. Having said this, I'm not in a position to comment whether an attempt was made on somebody or not. But the reality on that, there are pockets of violence here and there. But as it is at the moment, it's been looked into, and the tension is coming down. And before the election, with the presence, heavy presence of military personnel, troops, and what have you, the situation will be under control. Again, we have been assured of security of lives and properties. Then on our own side as a political party, we have encouraged our supporters across the state that they should come out in their numbers to cast their vote, and their vote will count and they will be protected. That has emboldened the tumultuous crowd we have everywhere for them to come in their numbers, come 11. But again, I want to commend the federal government for coming for acting swiftly in terms of a heavy deployment of troops to ensure that the election is free, fair, and credible.
Right, Honorable Ismail. By the way, let's tell our distinguished viewers that we try to reach out to other parties as well to be part of this conversation. But then if their representative come in before the program is over, we will have them so as to have a balance. Honorable Ismail, still speaking about what my colleague said about violence, the history of violence, and there's this report, turned out by a credible CSO, KDI, in which they said in all these three states, because this off-season election is not just about Kogi State, Imo people will be going to the polls, Bayelsa people will be going to the polls as well, as well as Kogi people, that there has been, since the start, I think this year alone, no, since the start of this campaign for this Guber polls, there have been 101 incidents of violence, and Kogi State has the higher percentage, as 47 out of those incidences. And this is what, you believe with me, is why people would rather stay in their house to say, you know what, my blood or my head is not what will be used by politicians to get into power. And these are accusations across board, not just a political party, accusations from A, from B to C, pointing of fingers at times. But then leadership is about service. Service is about to the people. And one will say, so if it's about violence, winner takes it all, brigandage, attacks upon attacks, is it really worth the ambition of any candidate? In this case, Dino Melaye is your principal. And that's why we are asking, what is your party doing to rain on your supporters, to rain, especially when it comes to violence? Majority, most of the time, is about the young people. What does the PDP do? What's your principal doing to make sure that the PDP is never associated with violence, and to rein in on his supporters to follow the law?
Again, thank you very much for this question. I have said it earlier. I just want to reiterate it once more. PDP as a party, we are a peace-loving party, organization. And we have preached peace wherever we went to. And we have asked all our supporters to make sure that the campaigns are issue-based and that they have complied with. Having said this, we have equally, told them that nothing is going to happen. Everybody should make sure he comes out on time in their respective areas and cast their vote, because we believe in the ability of the security operatives to do the needful. And as I speak to you, they have been fully deployed and they are moving virtually from place to place, showing, with the show of force being exhibited by the tools have come. A lot of people are beginning to think twice that this election is not going to be as usual. So now that there's now this renewed confidence in the people that the troops or the security operatives that are heavily deployed to Kogi State and other states will really do the needful to see that to forestall crises and what have you. Now, as you know, everybody is fully prepared. We are doing everything within the ambit of the law to make sure that we protect ourselves. When I say protect ourselves, I'm not asking anybody to take for arms, but when in a unit, we know each other. In a unit, we know each other. So you cannot come and cause mayhem. And when we gather credible intelligence of those imported hoodlums, as the case may be, then we'll report to the appropriate voters, and there will now be court and things like that. That is why we are telling our people to be vigilant. That is our preaching to our people. Be vigilant when you see people in your area that you don't seem to identify them. Then run to the appropriate authorities and say, okay, these people, we have seen them in their area, and before now they have not been, they don't live with us here. But why they are sudden appearance? So such information, when you give it to the appropriate authorities, the security agencies, then they will they'll come after them, and that will be done. So our people were working around the clock and were gathering intelligence. The last time you heard when my principal, Senator Dino Melaye, organized the World Press Conference, I heard alleging the importation of thugs from Lagos and other places, and even mentioning who was leading them, and at the same time mentioning the hotels where they are lodged. I think by now those people must have run away, and we are still on it. So other parties, we expect other parties to be doing the same. So it's going to be a combined effort, so that at the end of the day, whoever that is out for violence will now advise him or herself to go back, because Kogi State is not a place where they can operate this time around, because everybody is determined to change the leadership, to change the leadership and ensure that the Yabelo do not have a successor after 11 days. So everybody is wrong. People from far and near, our people who are in various places of authority, everybody that are using their good offices to ensure that there is protection of lives and properties during this election. So that I assure you. They know that through ballot they cannot get anything. Yeah, I don't see a candidate of the APC coming second at all. So we are looking at the distance third or fourth. That is what we are seeing for them.
I see. It's good. All right, can you hear me, Honorable?
Yes, sir.
All right, you know, it's good that you clarify when you said we have to defend ourselves. One would say that's the prerogative of the security agencies. And, you know, some might tell me to be, does it mean that you have an armed squad? Does it mean that you have weapons in which you use on the opposition or whoever wants to attack you? But it's good that you have said, by the way,
I think we are not abiding Nigeria.
Of course.
All we need to do is to be vigilant.
Okay.
And that's the best way. So we believe in prevention. When you see anything that is alien within the society, you see people, strange faces, all of a sudden, that report to the security agencies, the troops that are moving up and down.
All right.
We have seen some people who have come here, who have come there.
Yeah.
And all that you need to do is just for them to ask them to leave or go. This is what exactly they have come.
All right. Before we let you go, I'm sure you've had many persons raise concern, and sometimes it's not just out of maybe shenanigans or something about the character of your principal. Many, of course, many know him as a very interesting person, quite humorous. He has done comical skits. You know, he has sung. How many persons are wondering, is this quote-unquote comedian? Is he the person that we are talking about the people now? Is he the character that we occupy the government house? What does he have to offer? That's number one. How serious will he be? Then number two, what is really the promise of your principal? What is he promising the people? What are those things that will be measurable? That if, peradventure, if the Kogi people think about him being a governor, which is their prerogative, those things that the people, the media, people like us, the good people of Kogi State and Nigerians, will hold him to account and say, you promised this, you promised this, you promised this. What are those things that is promising the people, and people that are wary of a character if actually is a serious person that is ready for governance?
Thank you very much.
Please go ahead.
People are very, very funny. There should be a distinction between somebody's personal life and public life. Are you with me?
Please go ahead.
Some people are just jealous of the way and manner somebody runs his personal life. That is a different thing from political office. I want to tell you that among all the candidates in the state today, Dino remains the most experienced, having no less than 13 degrees. Dino remains the most experienced politically among all the candidates. Dino remains the most exposed candidate out of the three, locally and internationally, which remains an asset to the state. His contact will bring a lot of development of our areas. Now, I told you something earlier, that Senator Dino Melaye was once a House of Reps member and a senator. In the history of the state, no person, no representative ever in the history of the state has achieved what Senator Dino Melaye has achieved for his people in terms of physical development, in terms of employment of his people, and all what more. So they know that Senator Dino Melaye has a lot to offer. That is one. Two, Senator Dino Melaye has spoken for Kogi people right from time, especially the civil servants of the state and the entire people of the state, looking at the maladministration of the EVELYN-led government. It is on this note that the people of the state knows that Dino's words can be taken to the bank because he says something and he's doing it. He keeps promise. You can verify this from other quarters, not only from me. They will tell you who Dino is. Dino keeps to his word. Dino does not promise you what he cannot do. So now, in terms of experience, in terms of exposure, in terms of quality, in terms of everything you think about, this is the man who has value for quality things. So now the Dino governorship in the state will transform the state beyond the imagination of an average person. I want to tell you that it is until and unless people start differentiating, distincting the difference between one's private life and one's public life, then you cannot make headway. We have seen the two, and we take the aspect of his public life, what he has done, and that he is going to do more. Now, also, before I summarize on this, Dino remains the only candidate that has a policy document. When he set up a 17-member committee, peopled by erudite scholars who now brought that document for him on how to transform Kogi within 2 years and 4 years. That document is in circulation. You can Google, you can Google it, and you see it. That is one. Dino is the first person who has opened up an interactive website for people who were unjustly disengaged from service. For those lecturers who were sacked from service, they will not go and make their complaint. That as soon as he arrives, he becomes governor, even before he's sworn in, now the issue to receive serious attention. I think Dino remains the best man for the state.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, just before we let you go, I'd like to ask: there have been concerns and worries by different political parties in the different states, the 3 states that will be having this off-season election: Imo, Bayelsa, and of course your state, Kogi, about the electoral umpire. Talk about the Independent National Electoral Commission. I want to ask you. You speak for your principal, you speak for your political parties. INEC has come out to say that beavers will work, IREV will work, the electoral materials will get to the polling units on time. But I'd like to ask you, do you have fears? Do you have concerns? Do you trust INEC to be an unbiased umpire in this election?
Yeah, thank you very much. We are very confident in the capacity of INEC to conduct a free, fair, and credible election. Judging from what the assurances they have given to us. And secondly, all these elections before now, there was never a time that the material did not get to the polling unit. Material did not get to the polling unit. And the people will be the one to decide who will be their candidate. Now, I want to tell you something, that INEC, particularly the national chairman of the INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has assured Nigerians that you shall conduct the election taking into account the provisions of the Electoral Act, ensuring that there will be full compliance in the elections. So we are still very, very hopeful that the INEC as an umpire should do the needful to guarantee us free and fair election. As you are aware, the process of taking materials, sensitive materials, and other materials, the vis-a-vis deployment of logistics is to commence today. And all parties, I know, will be called upon to witness that the distribution of materials to local governments and wards and units as it goes down the line.
All right.
That we are very comfortable.
Okay.
And we know that the election is not going to, the election will be properly conducted.
Thank you so much.
Taking from the assurances that have been given to us by the INEC. It is not good for us to begin to preempt the outcomes. It's not good for us to begin to doubt their assurances and all whatnot. So, as the constitutionally constituted body to organize elections in the country, we are very much confident that they are going to do the right thing, and we are going to play according to the rules and to ensure that the desired or the desired cooperation the advocates from us will be accorded there, so that they can perform maximally.
All right.
We as a party are going to guarantee that. And again, we have educated our people for what to look out. We have trained agents. We have trained agents, very well trained agents of what they should expect. We have already talked to our supporters what they should expect, what they should ask for, how the beavers, they will make sure the beavers works, they will make sure it starts from zero. We'll give them necessary education. That we have given the past, and by the grace of God, there's going to be an improvement over the conduct this time around, more so that it's an off-season election, more so that they have enough staff on ground to do. So they're not lacking manpower now that it's an off-season. Because what we call staff that are going to be in other states now have been moved down to Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa for the exercise. So they'll have enough hands, and they'll have enough beavers machines on fire in case one will go faulty. There could be an instant or a replacement for such. So we are very confident again. I'm very confident that they are going to do what is expected of them, and we shall close some to victory by the grace of Almighty God. All right. God gives power to whoever He wishes. So
let us know, Honorable, INEC has released the figure for the total number of political agents that have been verified and registered with them. Does your political party have has all their polling agents ready? Do you cover all the units, the wards? I just want to know.
Yes. Sorry, I may not be able to give you the complete statistics because as somebody who is in charge of election planning from our party, I know by now he has all this information. But what I can tell you is that we are among the first few parties that were able to comply with the instruction by submitting the names of all our agents. Everything of us is complete because the party that has structure, everything is intact. So whatever that is coming up, we are good. We have no issue with anything.
All right. And, back to the Kogi West fight for supremacy, by the way, of vote in Kogi West. What many persons have been saying, in as much as the desire of the Kogi West people of the Kogi West Senatorial District, to have a governor, to produce the governor, at least for the first time, many persons have been saying, why didn't your principal, Dino Melaye, have a meeting with Honorable Abejide and the AA candidate, the contenders there, to say, you know what, it's about our people, it's about the people of the Kogi West, it is about achieving results. Why didn't they have a sit down and, all of them pick a candidate, possibly your principal or Abejide? In this case, definitely you'll be talking about your principal. Talk to them and say, brothers, why don't you step down? Why don't you collapse your structure for me? If it's about having our people, talking about the people of Kogi West, have a governor for themselves, at least for the first time. Political structure coming out in a united front. Why didn't they do that? Or did that happen?
Again, I want to tell you, Mr. Presenter, that there's such meeting was held. That is between Abejide and Senator Dino, Honorable Lake Abejide and Senator Dino Melaye.
What happened?
They once met and such discussion commenced. Now, along the way, the problems you have in politics most times is the supporters. The supporters, in that discussion, Abejide was favorably disposed to further discussion to see how we can come together. And it was in that meeting, it was not only Abedin that I was in that meeting, even the new Nigerian People's Party's candidate, Honorable Hassan Biwa, was in attendance in that meeting. That was the first meeting they held. And after that, supporters could say all manner of things. They could go behind and tell their principals, why do you want to have an alliance? Why do you want to start the building of a consensus and what have you? So that never moved further. That's exactly what happened. Even though as Melai, they called my elders and they met one. I don't know the one they have met behind the closed door, but the one that was public clear was the one I saw, which they have met. The past, I can tell like that. So the issue is that I don't want to use one word. But the issue is that supporters are always the problems of the country. Because they'll tell them, why are you going through discussions of this nature? But actually, I know that they had one meeting to see the possibility of working for each other. And it's not yet late. Discussions are saying it's possible that they are still discussing. That I cannot tell, but from 48 hours is anything can happen within 24 hours, anything can happen within 48 hours. The discussions, I believe, should be on. But something like this has happened.
All right, Honorable HARUWA ISMAHEEL, want to thank you for your time today on this program. And of course, let's state it right there that we extended this invitation to other parties as well to be part of the program. And Honorable ISMAHEEL HARUWA is the PDP youth leader in Kogi, North Central rather, and then is from Kogi State as well. We wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Pleasure is mine having you.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma.
All right, and that's it from PDP Kogi State. And Honorable HARUWA has been speaking of expectedly.
Very confidently, I should say. They have their eyes dotted, their T's crossed. He particularly spoke about them having the strategy for Kogi West and Central,
interesting one.
Saying the East, yes, they understand that Mr. Ajaka of the SDP is a strong contender. So they are focusing majorly on the Central and the West. And according to the calculations he put out there, he's confident
but
that...
they will say that's why you don't count the cheeks before they are hatched, by the way. But then, no politicians for what they are. By the way, ours is to have this conversation. You are distinguished viewers, you have the finance on this matter. In the middle of all these, politicians will say what they have to say. Sometimes do what they have to do to get power. But then the prerogative, at this time now, the PVC, anybody having PVC in that state has the power to say, this is the direction I'm going, or that is the direction I am going. In all of these, ours is to have, and the people there, and across other states as well, have a peaceful election. That's all that matters, that we safeguard lives and properties, and then, chart the next line of leadership for them, at least for the next 4 years.
And we should put it out there that vote buying is a crime.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be encouraged, both the seller and the buyer.
In whatever form.
In whatever form.
Yeah,
the seller, the buyer,
more smarter with these
and
things.
those who aided and abetted it, you can actually get prosecuted for that. So no amount of money is worth your vote. Vote your conscience. Vote. I'm speaking right now to the people of Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa states. Vote your conscience. Vote the person you know that is competent for the job. That is how to actually chart our way forward when it comes to our democracy as a nation.
And EVELYN OHIOLEI says so, by the way. This will be the size of the program today. We'll return, God willing, tomorrow for another edition, the TGIF edition.
Thank God it's Friday.
FEMI Ojo is my name. In Kogi, in Bayelsa, and in Imo. Let the best man, let the best woman win. God bless Nigeria. Please do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. Again, on X, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And our YouTube channel is there running as well. We are live on these program, and you can have a recap of this program as well, and other editions of the program at Western Spring Television. That's a YouTube channel. That's Nigeria. And of course, Sports Spring comes up right by 9 o'clock with Joseph Atewe there. He's going to give you all the juicy details in the ever-bubbling world of sport. After the show, I'm going to put on my trainers and my jersey so we can do some sports. My name is EVELYN OHIOLEI. Have for yourself a good day.
Sports is a culture on its own. It has its own language, its own people, with their own way of life.